May the 5th, we are pulling up to London, y'all.
It's the day you need to block out in your calendar. It's on a Sunday. So London, surrounding areas, all the Black people that live in Europe, wherever you at, this your chance.
That's right. We're super excited to be bringing the last portion of the Climax Tour to London. If you came to our show last year, this will be a completely different show.
Wilder, more fun. Well, I did get on top of that couple and do the 6.
And there was a woman who stapled money to her cheek and started bleeding. But
we got to step it up in London.
We're going to step it up. So head on over to whorehive.com. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Horrible Decisions. Sorry, I have to work on my throat. I have a date later. Anyways, I'm your girl, Mandii, a.k.a. Pay the Stallion, a.k.a. Deadbeat.
A first date?
I mean, just know, I am down to suck on the first date. So let me...
Are you really?
If the vibe is there, yeah.
You go through so many phases, bitch.
I mean, bitch,
Because let us play back.
You ready?
A few months ago, you were like, I am Oh, go.
You ready?
Yeah.
Who I am today is not who I was yesterday. It ain't who I'm going to be tomorrow.
Period. No, I just got...
She gonna wear that skirt then.
Hello. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, don't get cold. Wear the skirt. No, it's fine. I'm Weezy. Mandy's a whore. And we have 2 guests in the building with us. It was almost one. So we were super lucky
and then I got
having
surprised.
these 2 lovely ladies in the building.
That's right, y'all. We have Daniella Carter and Dominique Silver, who I met last summer because they are also the stars. Well, 2 of the 4 stars, right?
Yes.
Of Kokomo City, which is a fabulous. Bitch, I be trying. I can't. Oh, these veneers be taking this lipstick. Sorry, y'all. Wiping my teeth. Of Kokomo City, which is a documentary of the lives of 4 Black trans sex workers and just their lives. They have a lot of other, I would say, supporting people that are a part of the documentary as well, like some of the partners, someone in the industry who shares their relationship. But it's just let's get into it.
I've been really excited to see this doc, by the way, because it's just done from high level. Because my favorite documentaries to watch when I was younger, and I don't even know what we can call it, was a docuseries, was, I don't know if you remember, Hookers at the Point on HBO.
Yeah.
But it always showed people super strung out, and it was like really gritty and grimy, and it was kind of like, okay, cool, but you don't necessarily look at sex work as something that people enjoy doing.
No, for sure.
It's like a really lowbrow light onto sex work, and it kind of pushes out the thing like, you don't want to live your life like this. Mm-hmm. And obviously there's a dark side to sex work, as we both know. Mm-hmm. But when I saw your doc, and I didn't watch the whole thing, but I was like, oh, this is done right.
Shot in black and white by and also a Black woman, D. Smith. I would love to talk to you guys a little bit about what that is in terms of being a part of it and why you chose to be a part of Kokomo City.
No, for sure. I haven't seen Hookers on Point, but I used to be one of the hookers on the Point. No shade, but not strung out.
But they only showed like drug addicts. They very rarely show you.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was dark.
Yeah, I didn't do drugs or know about that then.
What was the point, by the way?
On Hookers on the Point?
Well, yeah, what is the point? What area?
No, Hunts Point in the Bronx.
Hunts Point in the Bronx.
Yeah. That was the days.
Oh, damn.
That's
where I used to go to Jazzy Jazz, bitch. Hunts Point, they got all the shopping when I lived in Parkchester.
Okay.
That's right down the block.
I think I was Erica then.
Okay. She said I was Erica at the Point. Okay.
Yes.
So, being a part of Kokomo City, why? Why tell your story the way you did? Dominique, y'all could go back and forth because I know y'all may have different reasons.
I feel like Kokomo City was a chance for me to be honest about my story and about my forced survival work, sex work that I had to do to make a living and be a part of society and keep a roof over my head. It was finally a chance to take away the shame of, doing what you have to do to survive when you don't have many resources to help you out. And you have to get creative at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And a lot of people put shame on that. But then the same people that try to put shame on it are not the people that are extending resources or trying to help or anything. So you get to a point that you're like, you know what? Fuck this shit. This is what I had to do. This is who I am. And you're going to take it or you leave it. And it also gives other people power to live in their truth.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people are not living in their truth. And if I can do anything to help someone else live in their truth or find their path or something, then I feel like I did something right.
And Daniella, if I'm not mistaken, you spoke about that in the doc where it was like that there's actually sometimes trouble finding work just because you're a trans woman.
No, of course.
Like, and so it is a survival because this is how you have to make money to survive.
And I think it's just a conversation, like, for me, that at that point in my life, it needed to happen the way that it happened in, like, this very unapologetic way. Because I know, like, for me, it was like I had, like, 10 years of actually being in the industry, being a part of community, doing a number of just different initiatives. And so every year, here I am, like, going to these celebrity events. And a lot of people didn't know that I was still surviving, right? Because along the way, it's like I have a daddy that can sustain the imposter syndrome, right? Of me being able to show up just to exist for them. So when Kokomo...
What do you mean you have a daddy?
A sugar daddy. Oh, yeah, no, I couldn't just do a client, bitch. That was too... I was like, you can't do a TED Talk and do clients like the regular way, bitch.
So you was like, oh, you gotta pay this.
Because you know that's the high-end way of life.
That part. And it was, well, I think
that's why I acted like I never did sex work until I started to learn.
She was like, I have
a sugar daddy.
Yeah. No, a daddy in the name. A couple daddies got the girls through. And even a woman at one point. But, hello. Trust.
I say sponsor, you know?
Well,
Okay.
I was in relationships and got rings from some of these individuals. So I have to say daddies, I guess.
Let me ask you, something I'm really curious about. Do you think that there's a stigma of Black trans women being synonymous with sex work because it's so hard for Black trans women to find jobs?
Just trans women in general. Because they're so discriminated against. So, for example, I've worked in the normal workforce. And I had a job and I was trying to make a normal living. I came out of sex work. And one guy, frustrated that he was into me and I didn't want to give him the time of day, ended up taking my advertisement that I had, an old advertisement from the magazine, and to my job and showed everybody at my job. So then the next time I went to work, everybody was looking at me strange. And they're looking at my crotch. And they're like, they're treating me different. So it's like these things, like we try to integrate in society and it's either that, then when my boss made it horrible for me, there's sexual advances that you can't take. The treatment is not fair. The schedule is not fair. Like everything changes once people know that you're trans, which is really sad. So therefore, what is a girl to do? You know what I mean? You're being fetishized because the men are coming and they're getting their rocks off of you. They're selling you a dream. They're leaving you high and dry. There's no exchange. At the end of the day, you feel like so empty. So you're like, okay, listen, I have this that people want. You know what I mean? I'm going to use this to survive. I have to. This is what I have. This is all I have. This is what I'm going to use and claim my power to survive at the end of the day and make it an exchange. But with that comes, psychological trouble. And, from many years of doing sex work, now I'm in therapy trying to unpack all of these things that I've seen, that I've experienced, that I've lived. So, I mean, this is our path, which is really sad for us. I've been a trans woman for 28 years. And every trans person that I know has had to be in this path at one point or the other. I don't care how famous they are now, before ever, they have had to pass this path because that's the only path that was made accessible for us to survive.
How old are the both of you? I'm curious. Because 28 years, I'm looking at you, I'm like...
I know, she looked the fuck good.
Yeah.
Hey, are we allowed to... We're not supposed to ask a woman their age.
I'm happy to say I am 45 and alive.
I know that's
okay.
Amazing.
I'm 45 and alive. And I'm proud to say that every day because a lot of girls that I came out with cannot sit here today to say that.
And what about you?
Well, if you ask, are we saying in trans years or in actual? Because I feel prehistoric in trans years with all the shit I've been through. But I guess in human everyday years, I'm 29, getting ready to turn 30.
When meeting a trans woman that is, got 10 years on you or whatever, did you find that, did your relationship grow within the documentary? Did you know each other before? Like, what's your relationship together?
So I came out fairly young. So I had a couple mothers along the way. But I think what I didn't have was like these very like clear examples that was accessible to me in terms of what I wanted to be. And so like around that time, I would say like when coming out, I like met Jan and Mock and like Laverne was my mentor. And so, you know, I had what they would say is the pinnacle of the representation of a Black trans woman, specifically in media. But then I will never forget, right? Sorry, she knows I always tell this story. And we was at Del Frisco's, right? And so I've always been, I guess, that young queen that older queens kind of live for, because I know how to get my pieces and my coins to sit at the table with them. No shade.
You don't need the sponsor for the Del Frisco. You had it before you got.
I brought the sponsor with me, so they knew that she had something in her.
Yeah.
But I remember we were all at Del Frisco's, and I saw her at the dinner table, and a couple girls didn't have their pieces for the check, right? So they came and they ordered, but they didn't have the funds. And so she's standing there in this beautiful blue gown. And when I tell you she was clearing the table, no, she was clearing it. And I was like, okay, I want to grow up and be like that. Because the way she cleared the table, I was
the way
like,
she cleared in the dock.
Okay.
With gowns laying on the bed.
It was
For
a
the
gown in a
Caucasians
gown,
listening,
clearing.
What does clearing mean, sis?
No, okay, so
There's white women listening that are like, what the fuck? What do you mean?
Okay,
Like,
so clearing is when you
took the
get a
plates out.
person together, like when you gather them, like for not having funds, for their wig being crooked, coming to your house without the money on the dresser. Like all of those things is clearing a person.
And no, now, you did this at Del Frisco.
Yeah, so it was like a birthday party. My girlfriend invited me. I came and, you know, it was like all these trans women. I'm like, yes, sisters, whatever. But then, you know, the check came and then everybody was like turning their
That's why I
head.
don't do birthday dinners no more.
Girl. And then I met her and I'm like, wow, she's like so beautiful. She's young. She's youthful. She has drive.
She
like,
has money.
I know, right. She was reading. She was reading because she had to pay $150
$250 for cold shrimp
for a shrimp cocktail because girls didn't want to pay their bill, and she was like, "Oh, I can't believe," and I was like, "I fuck with her."
No, because they were all older than me, so the math, like they said, the math is not math.
But all at the same time, you want to come back to this place, you can't be embarrassed,
right? So fast forward, like we do the movie, we're doing the movie, like Dee films us and everything. She keeps it under wraps.
Yeah,
She doesn't tell us until when we're going to Sundance. And she's like, oh, you know, Daniella's in the movie. And I'm like, wait, what? And I immediately called her up. I'm like, bitch, we're in Kokomo City.
Yes. No shade.
Where is Kokomo City?
So it's not a real city. It's
there is a city.
But
Kokomo, Indiana.
Okay.
Oh, look, because you've been in Indiana. Now, you did not know that until you've been in Indiana. So Kokomo City, if you guys actually look into it, it's a city that was referenced in a song, like an old school song.
Way down in Kokomo.
No, you making some up. But it's a...
No, that's a real... Bermuda.
No, Kokomo City was not mentioned in that goddamn song.
Yes, it was.
In Bermuda, Bahamas.
He says way down to Kokomo. Don't say that?
I don't know. All I know is about Kokomo, Indiana.
So Kokomo City is a song from what, the 60s or 70s?
I thought it was like Sissy Man Blues by Kokomo Arnold. Right?
Yeah, in the 30s.
Maybe they need to tell this part, Mandii.
I did my research. I talked about it when I interviewed them 6 months ago, but it was a long time ago. So
I got you. But I do think it's Kokomo Arnold.
Okay, so that man specifically actually had songs where he talked about his love for trans women.
Mm-hmm.
And this is 40, 50 years ago when, of course, you don't hear about, that in songs.
So I want to take it somewhere else because I'm really curious. Mm-hmm. We hear a lot of conversation within the LGBTQ community about gay men hating being the gay bestie. Now, we already know men fantasize the shit out of trans women. Mm-hmm. What do women do that drives trans women crazy?
Good.
Like, is there something that you feel like they're taking, or maybe they like having a ticker, like, I've got my trans friend, or what is it that you see women do that they may not know is offensive?
I mean, just the thought that because we're trans women, that means we want to have kids, deadbeat baby daddies, periods, cramps, gagging, all the things that cis women are going through. Like, I honestly don't want to sign up for that. Like, walking in my truth don't come with all that.
Right.
So it's like even comparing our womanhood, right? Because like the way that I go out, like, the way that my womanhood and what that experience looks like for me, it's very different. But I also know that there's commonalities within our experience, right? Like, I have Tay-Tay lying to me to leave your house to come lay up with me. So we both dealing with an ain't shit nigga. Oh. But what we don't realize in that moment is that we have the same battles, right? Like patriarchy, misogyny. But for some reason, you want to compare your womanhood and your journey. And if you are Faber, shout out to you. But just like what I know is like, it doesn't matter where your womanhood is in terms of your ability to have a child or not. It's about what we know we're carrying, which is a lot of men on our backs and the bullshit that come with them.
Dominique.
I feel the thing that I don't like about what cisgender women do, they feel like they need to intervene with relations between trans women or homosexuality, whatever, to try to make themselves the snitch or the person that knows everything. And, that's the gay guy, or, that's a trans woman. Like, I don't know why you're talking to them. I don't know. Like, people.
You find that women are the one who are... not the word exposing. What is it?
Outing you.
Yeah.
I think the superiority.
What it is they create shame for the men.
For the men.
Okay. And
we know that.
Understood.
The men, and then the men creates frustration inside of them. So what happens? They turn to react violence on us.
Oh.
But I feel like...
And this is the chain of reactions of effects. If women didn't care, and like us, I can speak for myself, I don't care who's sleeping with who. As long as you're straight with yourself and you are honest with who you're sleeping with, I'm okay with that. Okay? I'm not out here trying to control who's sleeping with who.
Right.
I don't care. That's not what moves my world. But if you come into my world, I do want to know who you're sleeping with, so I have to protect myself. And then we take it from there. But women choose to want to be, let me go out. You're in the club and you're talking to a guy. Oh, I have to tell this guy that that's a trans woman so I can feel one up and have a bond with this person because I know something that they don't. And we have to stop this. People, we just need to let people be who they are, however they feel. It's not bothering you. Okay? And we need to worry about what's going on in our own house instead of what's going on in anybody else's house, and including in between their legs. Period.
You were about to say, you said, I feel like, so were you disagreeing for a second?
Only because I feel like to a certain extent where I don't think that they always, like, I think it's unintentional sometimes when it comes to like how they out us. Because I think for some cisgender women, they feel that they're protecting their friend. Right? And so it's like, because I feel, right, that what my friend has said to me is that he's a heterosexual man. They don't view trans women as women. They see that as like a homosexual act or behavior, right? So it's like, whenever it's like, maybe my male friend is attracted to this, what they believe is a cis woman, they don't know, in fact, that they may be partaking in something that's considered to me gay. So I'm going to protect them from that gay thing because they may not see it as, because a lot of women feel like it's like a form of like deception because of us being trans. So it's like,
I don't believe that.
I don't care, really.
I'm going to be real. I really think girls have a little bit of a
superiority complex.
I do.
Also, you leaned into something though. And at this point, we're jumping around because I love to get to this. I had a clip where Adam 22 sat with Ava, who's a up-and-coming rapper from the Bronx or here in New York. And she's now dating a drill rapper. So she brings the drill rapper on.
She's trans, right?
She's trans.
That's right, I remember.
And so she brings her boyfriend onto No Jumper podcast, and they have a conversation about it because he literally sits there and says, I love my girlfriend. I knew exactly what was between her legs, who she is, how she identifies and everything, but I'm not gay.
I don't care what nobody got to say, because me personally, like, if anybody asks if I'm gay and shit like that, I don't see myself as I'm gay. Like, for me, I don't think I'm gay at all. Like, I'm not sick or doing some weird shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm with her.
So you never would have thought of being gay prior to this. So that's like your first time even having somebody throw that idea out there?
What?
The gay thing. Like, you never thought of yourself that way or whatever? Was it a little bit of like, was it tricky in your head to even DM a trans person? Or you're like, like, is this...
I'm be honest with you, like, when I just seen her, I was like, because I knew who she was before. Like, I seen her on the, what's it called? Doing the catfish shit. in 2020, I was always on my phone on the live and shit. I seen her doing shit like that. But I don't know, like I scrolled into her page and I saw her, seen she was in New York. I was looking at her shit. I was like, she looked good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Texted her and
it's been good ever since.
Yeah.
And so there was that conversation regarding the title of their sexuality that came into question. So when you're saying
and she's
a woman
post-op, by the way, that I think that's why he was saying, I'm not gay, I'm not. Sometimes, no, let me finish. I really think that men, and please let me know if you agree, when trans girls are post-op, they feel like they're in a whole nother playing field. They're like, oh yeah, this is
there conversations.
I feel like that might be, yes, for some men and even within our own community, like within the trans community. But I think that there is a misconception in general, even just within the LGBTQ community. Because somebody walked up to my partner, right? And we were like, it's a queer event. But they go up to him and they're like, oh, so like, how does it feel to like be out and be queer? He doesn't identify as queer. Like he identifies as a heterosexual man. So he was actually offended. And he didn't know how to respond.
Does it bother you, though, that there is an offense? And I know a lot of people just hate the titles all around, right? We done talked about that with Weezy not wanting to identify as bisexual in some places, right?
On dating apps, because niggas be like, yeah, we got a threesome going on.
But your partner knowing that you identify within the community. Well,
some days I identify within the community.
How do y'all identify with it? Like, because there's all the other umbrellas. Y'all could be bi, identify as straight, as lesbian. Like, how do y'all identify? And that's the thing. I ain't never gonna hold you. I never even thought to ask y'all that.
Well, what I'm told, right, to be, I guess, for other people in their political correctness, I am a binary, heterosexual identified trans woman. To me, I'm just Daniella. But what I know is, if you have titties, soft skin, any type of lip gloss, lipstick, we are not knocking purses. And that's anywhere on the spectrum, okay? Wherever you fall, it won't work for me.
Okay.
But shout out to the people who that do.
And what about you, Daniella?
Dominique.
Sorry, while I'm looking.
I don't like, well, now I'm post-operative and I feel way more comfortable in my skin and in my body. And I feel like I don't want to fit in the binary of what people want to put me in the box because I have made my own self. I took myself on this own journey. I medically did what I had to do to feel complete in my skin. So I don't need anybody's labels to put on me. Yes, I'm presenting as a female. I am pansexual. I'm attracted to people and energies. You know, I'm attracted to brains. I'm attracted to, I'm attracted to whoever is a person at the end of the day. I don't have labels. I don't have any judgment. I'm open because I'm comfortable in my skin and I know who I am and I know what I bring to the table. So
how long did that take you?
It took a long time.
And shout out to you. You were going through that journey as well on Kokomo City.
Yeah.
So, are you comfortable talking about a little bit about your process and your emotions during?
Of course, yeah.
So I
love that you asked that
because
we've had conversations where sometimes you feel like you don't know what to ask.
Because it's someone's genitals at the end of the day.
But it is also offensive too, right? It is offensive to be like, what you got.
But even on a sex podcast, that to me is too much.
I'm low-key over here gagging. I'm like, but talk about your pussy.
I mean, they done seen my other in the Kokomo City, so it's like, I have nothing to hide.
It was hanging.
A fully functioning pussy.
Honey, she made me a cute koi.
That's how the documentary is,
I'm about to ask questions that you didn't expect.
And by the way,
did you need to have a last moment with your penis?
Yeah.
Of course.
And in that last moment, was there like things you felt like you needed to get out? And what were those things? Because I feel like
like I had to have my orgasm.
You had to squirt on the wall one time?
Yeah,
you had to pop a lot?
I had to penetrate.
On the wall for me.
I had to penetrate some ass. I had to penetrate some vagina. I had to do what I had to do. And then I was like, I put it all on the Kokomo City. I did another magazine cover, Richardson, where I was fully nude. And then I was like, okay, I did porn for 20 years. I said, I think I'm done here. Okay. I can pack her right on up.
And when going through it, because I have a trans friend that literally deleted socials. She was like really going through it. And she's not like an influencer. I know most people know me and Hope Giselle cool as shit, but it's not Hope. But another friend of mine who's like, girl, I can't believe I didn't have this nigga pay for this shit. And now I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. And I'm curious, like, how long were you thinking about it and what got you there?
So I've always had the thought of it. I always wanted to have surgery, but like survival had me, into sex work, and I got comfortable in it, and I was thriving, and I made a name for myself. So I said, okay, I can maintain this. But then after a while, like the dysphoria started to kick in, and it didn't connect.
But in sex work, it's better to be pre-op.
Of course. Yeah, it is. And so I was
more profit, like you
make so much money. Yeah. And like at this point, I'm like directing, I'm shooting, I'm like starring.
But clarify, you got to be a top too, though.
What?
Oh, wait.
Oh.
Wait.
No, that's interesting too. Tell
Really?
us.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying when it comes to like in terms of sex work.
So pre-op for the most money is
predominantly, yes.
Top.
They want you to top.
Yeah, because you could be pre-op and be a bottom and be broke boots because you're not swinging.
Yeah, they want you to top all day, and that's was like my specialty, which is totally the opposite of who I am in my personal life. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
And I ain't gonna hold you. I'm probably someone helping that be the case. All the girlies I follow on OnlyFans, I be so mad.
Oh, I only like the bottoms.
I be like, I be wanting to see the men take it.
I don't.
Yes.
You know what it is though? Because I do, and as someone that's like strapped up with my ex and shit, like for some reason, I don't like seeing women being topped.
Well, clearly I'm Peg the Stallion.
No, for real.
Hello. I'm actually mad. I be mad as fuck. My dick, I can't feel shit. It don't squirt out. It don't do none of the cool shit that I actually really like about a dick. So I just be like, okay,
girl, I'm such a bad top. Like, I will do it, but so for me, I think it's really getting to see, especially the moaning too, right? Because you're looking at something different that's not necessarily like you, but it's womanly and beautiful most of the time, especially the website. What is it? Dream Trannies? They define as women.
Well, one moment actually, real quick. I just want to run off just real quick. These are the ones I support on OnlyFans. So the Shea Barbie, beautiful. Mm-hmm. Only one TS Kendall. And if you beef with any of these, we could bleep their names. Sorry. I know bitches be beefing and shit. My favorite is Rakaya or TS Paris.
We had Paris on, right?
And Big Bugatti. No, we had Paris on.
Oh, okay. I thought years ago we had. Okay.
Oh, you're thinking of Jamie Paris.
Jamie Paris.
Yeah, no, Paris lives.
Mind you, that's
she lives in Vegas.
Shout out to Jamie Paris.
You need to get into Vanille. You know Vanille?
No, see.
Okay, I'm shooting her actually tomorrow. VANNIALL. I'm actually directing her tomorrow for Evil Angel. She's like a black, beautiful, big girl, and she puts it down.
Come on, B.
You'll get
So then, can I ask that question? Because that's what I see as the most difference in heterosexual porn. Everybody's hanging, right? And in the trans women porn specifically, they be sometimes real little. Is there a difference in how?
Is that from hormones, by the way?
It is from hormones.
Okay,
actually.
I was like,
you
this is abnormally small.
Yeah,
but.
No, only because I'm like,
go ahead.
After 20 years on hormones, there's no. I mean,
that
I was like, because I know a girl that has been on hormones for 20 years. And she is hanging.
True.
Like, hello.
So I mean, I guess it's like vaginas. They're all different.
They are all different.
Some are big, some are little, some start off big. You know?
Okay, now this question is crazy, but I gotta know.
Shoot.
I'm not gonna lie, she is so excited that y'all are here for all the shit.
When I got my titties done, I saw 5 titties and I showed them to the doctor like, these are the titties I want. Did you show the pussy you wanted?
No, actually, I did not. I didn't.
I'm serious. I'm thinking to myself, if you know people are obsessed
did you go with wish pics?
With you pre-op,
right? I was like, not on Tumblr.
You look and how hung you were. It's like, well, what if I'm not as impressive on the other side?
That was a big gamble that I had to take. I literally felt when I had surgery, I jumped off of cliff because it was my safety net was having a penis. Like I know with a penis, I can go anywhere and make money. As a post-op, I had to be more creative, and luckily I had opportunities arise. But yeah, I was just like, okay, I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know how it's going to feel. But I know this is what I've dreamed of my whole life. and I'm ready to whatever comes with it.
How hard was it for you? Because I heard you got a catheter. Like,
oh my God, girl, it was like honestly the worst 2 months of my life. But
having to learn to walk again.
2.5 years.
what?
2 years later. Yeah,
I
you
knew
can't you literally cannot leave the house. I was talking about it the other day. Okay, just imagine this. You have surgery, okay? You have surgery, they cut you out, they turn you out, you have stitches everywhere. And you're in the hospital for 5 days. Right after you get out of the hospital, they take the packing and everything. You, with your whole open wound with stitches and blood and everything, have to dilate with this plastic rod that's hard as fuck for 15 minutes, 4 times a day. Imagine the psychological of that. Like, I literally disconnected from my body for 6 months. Wow. I'm not even going to hold you. I was not here. I was, doing everything that I had to do, but I wasn't in my body because I was shook. I saw that the first time when I first saw that and the stitches and the blood, I checked out. I was like, oh my God, what is this? Oh my God, it did not look cute. My girlfriend's like, yeah, it's going to be cute. It's going to be cute. I'm like, what is this? What is this? So it took me like 6 months to
Did you lean on women that were cisgender?
No, it was with friends of mine that had surgery before. Yeah.
Can I ask you last inappropriate question? I promise. Last one.
No,
last
shoot.
one. Do you orgasm differently?
Yes, girl.
Like do you orgasm like a woman, or you orgasm like
I orgasm like 5-10 minutes orgasm.
Are you getting wet? Because I hear that
I get wet.
So
yeah.
What is it?
I guess it's like I don't know, like the whatever fluid that you would produce, that pre-cum or something. Yeah.
No, one of my friends recently had sex with a woman in Thailand. And he said in the morning, she asked him if he'd ever had sex with a trans girl. And he said, my reaction was super chill. I was like, no. He said, why? She's like, that's tourism here. He said, I started looking at her. So she was 5'11", which is pretty tall for a woman.
No, it's pretty tall for Thailand. Bitch, everybody little out there.
That's a good point.
What you talking
But the next day, he's like, yo,
but
the pussy was super wet. And I'm like, babe, I don't think a trans pussy can't get wet. And he's like, but how? Like, are you sure it was really wet? And I was like,
yeah, they have techniques that they use, like your parts of your colon that like stay wet. But then there's it's complications because there's like a little bit smelly, but it lubricates naturally.
And you prepare before, no?
And the way, you prepare before. And also, if you're turned on, for some reason, you get wet. I don't know what it is.
Gushy.
Yeah.
Yes, that sounds
gushy. Now, I wanted to get back to sex work real quick because our vanilla shit, there was something that went viral. And I was like, ooh, this is spicy, hun. Yes. So we're going to talk about smells since you just brought up smells. And this one actually led to a text message thread. This person tweeted, so I linked with this dude, and when it was time to do the do, he smelled funny down there. I don't know if I worded this wrong or what, but considering he's 25, I definitely expected him to take the constructive criticism better. Pretty much this is how it read. Not trying to be rude or nothing, but definitely needed to shower. Hold on, you saying I stink? She said, stink is not the word. He said, watch your mouth, you trying me. She said, but I could tell you didn't shower. You want me to lie to you? If you felt like I needed a shower, I would want you to tell me. You don't have to be offended. You didn't stink, but you need a shower. You've been at work all day and I could tell. He said, I don't know what you talking about. Definitely showered. You just running your mouth, but you enjoy the rest of your night. Or you got me confused with another dirty dick nigga you fucking. That was...
Daniella, tell me right now, 1 out of 10, how many of the clients be funky in the booty?
Oh, not in the booty. I'm not a top girl. I
could not be funky at all.
Well, I would say, I don't know. I don't have those type of dates. I mean, I've had a young date that probably smelled like that.
Did you tell them? Like, what is the conversation? How do you?
Well, I'd probably be nice about it because I would just be like, hey, babe, let's go take a shower. Like, I just want to be.
Oh, no.
But then I would also want a tip because you use my shower. So
wait. You could ask for a tip for
this bitch.
Yeah. She said my soap is expensive.
No, damn, this is not the fucking hotel, baby.
You know how I used to turn it? in Europe and London and Ireland.
Germany.
Oh,
Ireland.
because I hate them flights, baby.
It's
just their bodies. It's what they cook with.
The cheese. It's the foreskin. Like they would come in and then you would just whoosh.
They're not circumcised.
Uncircumcised.
In
So
Europe.
baby, I would be like, I would greet them at the door in my little outfit. I'll say, "Hi, baby. How are you? Oh my God, great. Come on in." And I will walk them right to the shower.
Oh,
before anything.
So you don't even know.
I don't care. You got to get in that shower before you, because I already know it's giving because you have, and you men.
She said just because you uncircumcised, you need to.
And you men are not clean, so I need you to take a shower before anything. And they would all get in the shower.
But wait, you mentioned overseas. Was that just overseas or is that?
It was in general, like
because I'm wondering
more overseas because it was the uncircumcisedness and the pungentness of the.
Oh, I can smell it.
Was a lot.
I smell it. Right. I was like, said it.
It was a lot.
But wait, you don't charge more because for me it's like for me I didn't mind.
She said
it's about the point.
We're pulling out the itemization.
No, for real though, because it's like I'm okay too, and I'm actually happy when they come and need the shower because that takes up the time.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's like,
I don't ask for a tip because then by the time they do all that, I do the.
Oh, so you're not even gonna? Okay.
And they're naked, so I guess that helps.
It's perfect because you do, and then
I want you to get the full spa treatment though. No shade in my bathroom because I need you to really stay in there. So like I'm gonna break out the scrub.
You said there's an hourly fee.
No, for real. Oh damn, that's the only way you came in.
Can you tell us?
And a deposit have to have hit.
An ideal client, like start to end for the girls listening, because I remember once when I went on a what's your price date and I was literally like, when is he gonna pay me?
Oh.
And then he didn't. And I was like really scared. When I was young, I was just finding sites to make some cash on. And I remember thinking like, whoa, like, is it because he thought I liked him? Like, I don't get it.
That's the thing though too. That's very real. That you can lose a date if he feels like you like him too much.
Oh,
look,
never too late.
No, for real. But I mean, I had a date and I was so mad because he told me, right? Like when we first met, he was like, I don't want a girl who falls for me. Like this has to be transactional. Like you need to come in, handle my needs and get your money and just go. But the type of guy he was, it was hard not to fall for him. Like for me, he was my Christian Grey. Like he was like very young, light eyes, body.
So he knew.
Dick for days. And the only thing that was mixed, he did want to get topped. And I didn't live for that because like I felt soaked every time I saw him. And it was like, this is ideal. You look good, you're young, and it's a fab coin. No shade, because I'm not going up in nobody's house for nothing less.
Yeah.
But it's like, for me, it was like I got emotionally attached. And then it was like, okay, now I'm laid up. I got a sickening coin. And the date used to get me strung out, no shade. So to the girls, don't do drugs, but today it is not it. You gonna lose your tip, girl.
Good tip.
No shade.
Here's the hors d'oeuvre. Don't do drugs.
So he was cuddling because you said it used to lay up.
Yeah, cuddle down, the views. It was literally, for me, it was everything. Gag, no shade. This person was so fab that recently, I guess, after he started giving the girl so much coin, he became the person pulling coins, the sex worker. Because he was literally on the shade room for marrying a second person. But shout out to you. No. But I also want him to know if you come across this, you owe me a tip for even turning it like that after. Like, how you gonna date that turned into a sex worker?
So let me ask you, because this is actually something I experienced in whole friendships, I like to call.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I would let my homegirls know that a nigga was a super easy trick, or the sex was good, he was fun, there was a lot of money, my friends would then go after those niggas. And he's for everybody, so you can't really be mad, even though, do you ever find yourself getting mad for maybe oversharing how fun a trick is? And then people that you know now.
Oh, yeah. I definitely have cut a girlfriend off about that because I used to have a client and he was iconic for what my set was, which is you didn't have to have sex. He gave you a couple stacks. And so, and literally any girl, I mean, like if I'm out and about, I'm like, oh, bitch, I'm outside. We outside tonight. He's here.
Yep.
So, but I didn't like the fact, so I leave, right? And we had all just hung out. We all got our pieces. But while I'm away, I noticed that all of a sudden he's following her and she's following him. Oh. See, what was wrong for me was that she followed him back, right? Like this is a trick.
Agreed.
So he's always going to be messy.
As
your girlfriend, Like, for you to go follow my trick, it's like, no, bitch, this was never your date. Right? Like, this was my date. And whenever I'm ready to bring you in, then you come in.
Girl, this just happened with one of my homegirls. And she literally, so I'm the mutual with who they followed, right? Some nigga was popping bottles, whatever. And literally, it's her trick. She saw what happened. She called me and she said, send me a nigga that she likes.
Ooh.
I said, no, bitch, what did she do? She was like, I'm gonna fuck him. I was like, bro, please don't make me do this. Because I had more loyalty to the girl who called me.
Ooh.
She was like, I'm not playing, bitch. I'm going to fuck him. She was like,
it used to be hard for me with my friends, only because at the time that this happened, bitch, we all needed money.
Mm-hmm.
And I never wanted to feel like I was keeping my homegirls from paying their bills or taking care of their kids and stuff like that. So like, it was always really difficult for me to take it personal or be upset. Like, if it was a nigga that I like, that's different. So that's another thing. If it wasn't tricks, there's still niggas I would fuck that wasn't like breaking bread. And if I brought them around homegirls and they even thought to following it, it didn't happen to me all the time. My niggas that hit me up like, yo, was so-and-so like, y'all really cool? Cause she done slid in my shit. The niggas will tell.
Oh, yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah,
they like
sure.
The men are messy. And ladies, if you think you being slick, whether you think this nigga really fuck with her or not, they tell every single time.
Mother,
I done told my homegirl
why don't
she
you
can't
tell
have her
us
friend
the
around.
rule?
Okay.
Of what? Well, I'm a very private person. So
After this documentary,
I was a very private person until my whole spot blew up. And I'm also a generous person. So if I did have like a customer or something that, I would, navigate it to a certain way. Like, of course, if I'm eating, I want everybody to eat. But I wouldn't, I've been burned so many times before too. And like situations like that happen. So that just shows me I eat for myself. You know what I mean? I've helped out enough people. I did what I could. I gave a lot of connections and I got stabbed in the back many times. So now I refuse. What's mine is mine. And, I'm so sorry.
Now, what is the safest way?
No, I just want to speak to something too, though, because it's crazy. So I have one of my old friends actually fucked one of my people and basically said to me, like, I was being selfish for not letting her deal with him. And what's crazy is these people ended up robbing me, all the things. But I just wanted to say too, like, I have encountered women who will say, if you don't give your partners or the men you're dealing with, somehow you're selfish for that. And it just fucked my head up because
that's called manipulation.
Right.
That's all they're saying that for is because they want what you got.
No, of course. Like, he gagged that she took him to Wendy's and I didn't even know he ate Wendy's. But I was just like, okay, that's some girl shoot that for them, they feel like you're being selfish. And for me, I literally internalized it and was like, you know what? It kind of makes sense. Like, if you're not worth it and I feel like you are disposable, then I will give you to the group.
Same.
But it's like, if you somebody that I feel like is lucrative.
Girl, bring back gatekeeping.
Yeah, because here's the thing.
I was like, wait.
I mean, to be fair, because if they're spending money on your friends, it's probably less money that's going to be going.
That's what I'm saying.
I be feeling like that too. I be feeling like that too. And I'm like,
I don't want to be Saturday and then next thing you know, I'm every other Saturday. Like, no.
I want to be Sunday when they bring out the orphan plate.
Okay, this is what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
So to the women that are listening to the podcast, out calls, in calls. Can you tell us a little bit about what's you've seen has been safer and maybe ways to protect yourself, whether there be sites just anything you may have seen along the way that could be a helpful tip and save somebody?
So before I stopped working, I would do Mr. Number lookup, and search the number for, after the whole thing. There's also network of girls. There's blogs and just the clients have blogs about the girls because I know I'm on a lot of blogs. People are telling all my tea. My friends tell me, oh yeah, this and this and that. The girls have blogs too. And you can put in a little number, put in a little name or something. Ask one of your girlfriends, hey, do you know this person? Because the big fish, they've all stopped at our station. So if you're open and you have friends and you can say, hey, do you know this person? Do you have any recommendations? In calls are very iffy because for me, I was I'm such a known person. I don't like people to know where I live.
What about if you get a hotel room?
Yeah, so I would get a hotel room, on the other side of town. On the other side of town, I would set up my customers.
States.
Yeah.
What she said New York and DC were her best. She would travel from Florida.
I would be Candy Ferocity the way they would get me in my house. Because trust,
Yeah,
I don't feel comfortable in a hotel though.
Really?
I feel
Yeah.
You feel more comfortable
Why? Do you feel like
inviting
you're
them
gonna
to
get
your
arrested?
home.
So I don't know. For one, I just feel like I feel protected in my home simply because I know where my gadgets is at.
Hello, gadget.
Like I know where to
My
get my
cat.
peace. You know what I
But
mean?
what
When
about
I
if
need
they
to.
come back to your house?
right.
Oh, they've done that too. But I mean, well, at my place is like a bunch of cameras, and like you know when you walk in because you see the stick by the door, the knife by the bed, like you know the pepper spray. Like you're gonna see if you jump or cough too hard, you might not leave the same way you came in. But I also don't feel like, for me, honestly, like I guess there's always been this thing I'm uncomfortable with telling people that I'm a sex worker. So it's like the fear of being at a hotel, maybe being a part of a sting. Like, how do I explain that?
Girl, do you
And
know
then
how big
I don't
this
want to get a
podcast is?
Huh?
Do you know how big this podcast is?
No. I'm fine with that now.
Oh, okay.
But I'm
She's
saying,
saying
no,
back
I'm
then.
saying back then. Girl,
Gotcha.
I'm in Kokomo City
I was about to
with
say.
a bonnet and my titties out. No, so, but
okay,
I'm saying,
and telling about just.
but
Okay.
it was for me too. That's what it all like went into, where I said like dealing with the imposter syndrome, because right, like
Yeah.
I'm still showing up in certain spaces, especially corporate spaces,
Come on,
because I was a part of like the not just that, but like at a corporate ad agency, and so like I was out here in these streets. So it's like I had to try to disguise it any way I could. So it was like I always wanted
That
a
makes
daddy,
that makes sense.
you know, to come to my house, and then I always played the, you know, I'm an aspiring Black artist, okay, narrative to every day. It was like very much like, give me my coins so that way I can get out of this because I want to be a star. I want to be a girl.
I love having a spiel for the daddy.
That was
the
a-
artist.
That was a struggle. Like you had to, back in the days, you had to have a mood lighting. You couldn't say you were a sex worker. So you always had to have another feel like, oh, I'm a makeup artist. I'm a hairdresser. Because back in the days, back when I started, you couldn't be, there was no podcast, girl. You were
Right.
doing what you had to do on the low. Like, you know what I mean? Now it's more common and you can like, hey, you know, but back in the days I struggled because I'm there. You'd be like, you know, you go to a club and you meet a guy and you know, you're a sexy person. Oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a model.
Not even
You
to
know, oh, I'm
age it.
this.
Not even to age it that far back. When I was in high school, one of my good friends, her sister worked at and to be very clear, the stigma around just being a stripper,
Mhm.
not sex worker, you know, and of course there's the hierarchy of
Of
sex
course.
work as well. But a lot of women weren't even, you know, cool sharing that they're a stripper. And now they have all
Everybody.
videos. Everybody's showing themselves in the locker rooms on their Instagrams.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely different than even what I saw growing up.
But see, too, the difference is that like we have a place in New York City. There was like the trans strip club, right? And so like for me, that was the thing. Like, yes, I would do in calls, but I guess I always had access to what was like an out call because I would go to
After
the club. No, in the club.
Oh, in the
like
club.
you
You talking
dance.
Oh, sorry. Is that-
no, I'm like, I could
Can we
date it a
leave
little
that out?
because I'm like, this for the young girls, but it goes a little
Okay.
further
Well,
back,
that's
like
what I went-
That's
Evolve,
where they
I went
have
a long
their
time.
Tea Tuesdays.
Bar
yeah,
13.
yeah, that's where they got the Tea Tuesday or Tea Thursdays.
Oh, no, it's Tea every day there now.
Where at?
Can we
Jesus.
we'll bleep
No,
that out
it's
just
only
in case.
Tuesday.
I mean, I've talked about that place on the show before.
Oh, okay.
It's only
I've gone-
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
No,
But
no, now
I
it's
don't.
every day.
I don't like these kind of places because like men go to meet trans women and then they automatically get propositioned. And so there is no places where like a girls like us that maybe we are used to be sex workers, but now we want to meet someone, you know, and we want to have a normal conversation. There is no places like that. So I don't like to promote so much those kind of places because we need to have a place where we can be socialized and if you want to,
But
you
I
can,
feel
but
that.
it doesn't have to be the focus when you walk in. Like guys
But
walk
see-
into and they're like,
But in terms of girls in sex work still, when you think about in call to out call, it's very much so in terms of safety. I think that is a safer way.
right.
I
Because
feel that.
I would rather meet you in person.
Right.
You see me in person. So my rate don't shock you. I'm not sitting around. No, because there's a lot of like Russian roulette. And like for me,
True.
sitting at home and doing sex work at home is like sometimes a lot of wasted time, right? Because you're just like overselling, like marketing through the
And see,
phone.
this is what I love.
And I-
Y'all be on the opposite ends of the coin here.
Yeah,
I love
it was
It's like
easier.
it really shows so much of comfortability.
Mhm.
And I would rather get my coins in person. No shade too, because a lot of times the dates when I would use my photos would say that they didn't believe I was real. So when you see me in person, it's like, okay, baby, now you're not gonna play with me. Like
It's me.
you know what
Here I
this
am.
is. And I guess I knew I could always make enough at night. So it's like, but the way that I would kind of like, I guess, police the situation or like safety measures is like I would ask them for my coins up front or at least a deposit. And then I honestly knew to only go for a certain type of guy.
Right.
Like if you didn't have on a suit or if you didn't come across as that coinsy type of date, like no shade, shout out to Tay who's a date, but I'm not going with you. Like that's not what's happening. Like I need to feel like I'm leaving a very sickening set where you're going to ensure my safety because you're even concerned about like somebody even knowing that, right, I'm trans and being in your building. So I needed the high-end date.
You said you got a stick and pepper spray and this and that. So it's like, yeah, one of each.
Going out with a bang.
I'll start. Well, I'll start with a bad time with a customer, and sadly enough, it was a Black customer. And this is maybe why a lot of trans women choose not to operate in that demographic. But it was a Black customer. He came to my house. This is a long time ago. And he wanted to penetrate me. And I'm like, I don't offer that service, or if you want, you have to give me more money. No, he didn't want to give me more money. He forced himself on me in my own apartment. And luckily I had like someone in the other room that I can call out to help with because it could have got ugly.
Wow. So you had help.
Yeah, I always had like someone working with me in the bathroom or something because me by myself, 130 pounds with these grown-ass men, until I started learning mixed martial arts and everything that I can feel confident now to protect myself. But back then I didn't have that.
Now, is that why some women choose to work with like a pimp?
I guess it's the protection, yeah, because these men, they'll try to get with you for free. They'll try to coerce you to do stuff by threatening to call the police on you if you don't do X, Y, Z to them. Like, it's really hard out here to protect yourself as a woman and as a businesswoman on top of that in this whole industry.
No shade. But to any bitch out there with a pimp, seek Jesus.
Right. I mean, I would never
Tell us why.
Because I just feel like to position yourself and depend on a man's safety when you're already, in survival, or if you don't feel that what you do is survival. But to a certain extent, that's manipulation. And he's taking away from like your sustainability because, right, like in the end, you always get a short end of the stick. And when I think of pimps, that's usually some type of form of domestic violence, right? So if it's not financial, then it's definitely physical. And it's like, if you're already in a position where that's how you choose to make your money, okay, cool. But then to subject yourself to that level of violence and then have to like lose a sense of yourself. Because not only doing sex work can do that, right? Like always having to constantly put the value on yourself that a man give you. But then now this man's beating you, abusing you. And it's like, you deserve so much more than that. Like, even if you don't know how to invest your money, protect yourself. For me, I would rather have my comrade be a woman, right? Whether it's trans or cis, like the girl in the bathroom, the person protecting me, than the man giving me just enough to look just enough good, to maybe make a coin. And if I don't make that money, somehow I become the problem. Like, I don't know. Like, that's always, like, I've never understood it because I'm just like, it's
I always thought it was because they either don't have the client, so the pimp's telling them they're going to give you these people so you don't have to do it on your own, the safety. But I didn't know that pimps take all your money.
Yeah.
I thought pimps...
You work for them.
You work, and they provide you a roof over your head. They feed you. They do.
I deadass thought like most pimps take all your money, but I thought some were like agency.
We ain't really talking
No.
It's like agency.
You out here selling bikes to
No, we
holiday.
almost had a pimp on, but we decided not to because
he was beating bitches' ass. We literally
the day of the episode.
were about to have a pimp on here, and then he's on the internet where like they're outing him because he's been out here beating bitches' asses.
It was like videos from him in the Walmart beating bitches up. And I was like, oh yeah, that nigga can't come on this podcast. He was like, it was maybe an hour. He flew right for the interview. I said, bro, cancel on that nigga. He can't come up here. Literally, I said, girl, you seen this? Ain't this the guest coming on? I said, tell him goodbye. Daniella, I thought he was going to come get us.
Where can the people follow you, see you, support you? Let's get witty.
Well, you can follow me on Instagram, Daniella Carter. Well, Daniella Carter.
I was about to say there's a period.
That part. And I also have a film festival platform for BIPOC artists, Daniella's Guest Book.
You can find me on Instagram, Dominique Silver, INTL, and in campaigns and magazines and runways near you. honey.
Now, those ats and all your socials will be in the description of this episode. But also, if you loved our guest today and want to see them be a part of Kokomo City, you can now watch it on Amazon Prime, Showtime, and Paramount Plus. Okay. So it is all over the place.
Apple TV too.
And Apple TV. Hello, where else? Like, it's everywhere. So make sure y'all catch that. It is Kokomo.
Yeah.
Kokomo. There we go. City.
Kokomo City.
Thank you so much. What a surprise of Dominique even being with you.
It was a little bottom team.
Thank y'all so much for joining us. And y'all, if you want to continue supporting Horrible Decisions, make sure you join our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Horrible Decisions. Thank y'all so much. And this has been yet another episode of Horrible Decisions.
Peace, y'all. Bye.
It's part of the horrible decision, but I'm curious to know, just so we could try to start off on a good note. Has there ever been a red flag, everybody in the room, including you, Wolf, that you ignored that actually, I don't know, worked out in your favor? You know, for example...
Does that make it a red flag then?
Well, no, that's what I mean. Just like the guy that's super unavailable, but he actually came through or something like that. Have you ever had a time where a red flag wasn't that bad? Or it turned out to work out in the end? Because normally it doesn't.
Okay, so here's the thing. What does work out in the end mean when we're single?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm single, so I
what is the working out in the end?
To that point,
it's a good question,
I don't think that just because your relationship doesn't end in marriage or is still going, that's bad. Like I know that your ex is a piece of shit and we hate him.
Yeah, and it didn't end well.
You still got to experience love and a great relationship.
Oh, well, no, he was a narcissist. So I'm questioning if there was love at all. Like, that's where it's taken a lot. Like, and maybe because I've gone down that rabbit hole, everything now seems like manipulative, like, and that's what I've been dealing with in therapy. I don't think much of that relationship was real. I think it was self-serving for him. Like, even the way that I've realized that narcissists mirror the things that they see that you like and do it, I was like, oh wait, maybe that nigga never wanted to be a photographer. His first birthday, I bought him all of these attachments for a camera because he seemed so interested in the creativity that I had that he now wanted to be so creative, create a calendar, do all these things for firefighters. He never finished it, but he fed into the fact that that's what he really liked. So when I sit back and I'm reading all these things that they do, I'm like, I don't think a lot of that relationship was real. And to be fair, there were so many moments, and I've said it here, I knew that there would be questions or things that I would question or try to hold him accountable that would lead to him breaking up with me. That's why we broke up 13 times. And so it started getting to where I'm not going to question you. I know what you're doing. I don't like how I feel about it, but because I want to believe that this is so peachy and perfect and peaceful, I'm just not going to question it because I like getting dick down and going on trips. And so I was literally ignoring things to stay happy.
Well, I am happy right now. And I actually don't feel like talking about this shit as we are flying to the AVN Awards tomorrow. And I'm bringing this nigga that I'm dating. And now I just feel like, what flag am I ignoring? Everything feels fine. Okay. So
do you feel like you're ignoring a flag at all? Like, is there a red flag? Especially considering, like, in one of our last Patreon episodes, you expressed, like, your anxiety about him not jumping to be with you and then questioning if he even really wanted to be with you for those, you know what I mean?
Now we're just about to be a therapy session, but I will say this. I thought this was a red flag and I've chosen to not ignore it because I feel like maybe I could sound delusional by saying this, but I'm very tired of expressing my concerns with relationships with other people and expecting them to make me feel better about it or appease me. You get on the phone with your homegirls and you're like, oh my God, what do we do? Da, da, da. And basically the timeline in which I'm looking for exclusivity or commitment isn't necessarily matching the speed in which I thought it would. But while we were talking about it, and I just met his parents, that was his step, right? And his whole family. And he said to me, like, what else is going to make you feel good? What else can I do while we're, still dating? Like, what can I do to make you happier? And I could pick nothing. And that's when I knew, like, oh, I'm being ridiculous. I'm happy we see each other enough. He's constantly flying to see me. He's making effort for shit, surprising me on dates. We spend weekends together. One pet peeve I always had with dating was that they kind of just, you spend the night and then they leave. Like, I'm never in a rush. He's never on his phone. Like, I'm super happy. And I'm like, all I need is this title when someone literally thinks dating means marriage, but I don't, right? Because to me, I'm like, I've had many boyfriends. That's what I do when 3 months, 6 months happens.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it's a little different for me, bro. Like, I come from a background where the girlfriend is about to be the wife. So, like, this is how my life works. I know what you're used to, but can we take time? And so, like, I'm just fucking tired of everybody's opinion about it. If that's a red flag, then fine.
I feel like that sounds like all healthy green flags to me. I mean, from my perspective.
But that's not what we hear, though.
At what age did you even start? And we weren't able to read the book going in, but I would love to know, because I think red flags is something you only notice maybe in your 30s plus, I would say.
But no, a red flag is a guy not wanting commitment, though.
Yeah, but there's so many red flags. That's not the only red flag.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of the red flags that you don't pick up on until you've been in a couple relationships, until you go through therapy and see what was wrong. That's why I'm asking you, outside of not wanting there's so many red flags.
Yeah.
When did you start acknowledging red flags? And could you name some of the ones that we could see in this book?